So today we're going to talk about how to use feminine energy. There's been a lot of talk on the internet about feminine and masculine energy, so I just want to break it down for you so it's easy, simple. So there's two types of energies in this case. There's the feminine energy and the masculine energy. Feminine energy is not to be confused with femininity or being girly or dressing in pink, or it's an energy. Think of them as energy. Feminine and masculine energy, they're both energies and they work together to create balance. So everything has both. Money has both, nature has both, and you have both. So it all depends on what you embody. What is your primary embodiment? Are you a feminine being or are you a masculine being? And then the embodiment will be different for each of them. So if you're a woman who is a feminine being, which most women are, you will embody more of the feminine energy and less of the masculine. So if you think of percentages, this would be 70%, 30%, 70% feminine, 30% masculine, or 80% feminine, 90% feminine, 20% masculine, 10% masculine. And for a man who is predominantly a masculine being, which most men are, they would embody 80% of the masculine, maybe 20% of feminine, and so on and so forth. And so it's a balance of the two energies. And so if you're a woman, feminine embodied being primarily, and you're embodying more of the masculine, that's when the problems start to come out. You start to feel burnout, you start to feel stressed, you start to see the effects on your body. You're stressed, aging quicker, your skin is dull, because you've been too much in your masculine energy and you've not balanced it out. This is why it's so important to learn how to use your feminine energy so that you create a balance in you, so that you don't get burnt out, so that you don't age quicker. Just be in the path of least resistance, the part that suits you best. A fish climbing a tree rather than a fish swimming in water. So let us be fish swimming in water. So what are the characteristics of feminine and masculine energy, just to get better understanding? Well, if you think of the river and the river bank, like I said, the feminine energy would be the river. It's flowy, it's playful, it's free. And then the masculine energy would be the river bank, the structure, okay, keeping the container for the feminine energy. So you see they work together. You can't have one without the other. If you just have the river without the river bank, it's not a river anymore. And if you just have the bank without the river, it's not robust, it's not a river anymore. So you need both. So the feminine energy would be the playful, free energy, and the masculine energy would be the structured, rule-keeping, time and space maintaining energy. So, and then for feminine energy, it would be the being, just being, sitting back and receiving. And then the masculine energy would be the doing, giving, taking action, purpose-driven, structure. That would be the masculine energy. If you think of it this way, it's easier to understand. There's this trope on the internet, on TikTok, like sunshine and sunshine protector. That's another characteristic. The feminine energy would be the sunshine. You're just being, you're protected, and you're willing to accept protection. And then the masculine energy would be the protector, okay? The sunshine protector, the doing energy. Okay, and then there'd also be feminine energy being soft, comforting, and gentle, and then the masculine being structured and reliable, right? So you see, it's a dance. We have both energies working together to create this beautiful dance in nature, and that's how it's supposed to be. One is more intuitive, like the feminine is more intuitive and improvising, and then the masculine is more consistent, rule following, structure, to-do list, chronological. That would be the masculine. So you see, it's a balance between the two energies. So how do we as women and as feminine embodied beings use our feminine energy to our benefit? The first thing you're going to do is inject joy and enjoyment to your life. So if you're doing a task that is typically masculine, like for example, you work at a place where it's very structured, very time constrained, you work from 8 to 5 p.m. and you're always behind the desk and you're doing very repetitive, boring work, you need to find a way to inject joy into that, inject movement into that. So perhaps if you have the opportunity to take a break and move around and stretch, do that. If you can work while listening to your favorite songs, do that. If you can find a way to make that work enjoyable, do that. That would be injecting feminine energy into it in one way or another. Another way you can inject feminine energy into our lives is to automize the masculine. So if you find yourself having to do certain tasks repeatedly, rather than putting all that mental energy into doing that task, you could automize it so that you don't have to put so much energy into it. This would be the analogy of the river and the river bank. If you could create an automated river bank for you, then you'd be free to do what you want within the relevant constraints. This, for example, for me is a routine, like a morning routine and a night routine. In my day, I know that I will read something good, personal development book in the morning. I will perhaps exercise. I will do my prayer meditation in the morning. In the evenings, maybe I'll work out. Spontaneity is there, but there's still structure, there's still routines. That's the power of habit. So if you have prepared your environment in a way that you automate those boring and those masculine tasks, then you're free to be in your feminine energy and still have that balance. Another example is, for example, saving. If you could automate saving, like the money just is cut from your bank account and it's in the savings account, and then you're more free to use the money than if you were how you would like, than if you were not automatically cutting that money out. So I'm not sure that's a good example. Another way is to get awareness. So at any time of day, we're always shifting between the two energies. Sometimes you're in a feminine, sometimes you're in a masculine. But if you're unconscious all the time, you will not know that perhaps you're too much in your masculine throughout the day. You've been focusing too much on rules and keeping time and being productive, and you've not let yourself have any enjoyment, any play, any fluidity, any improvisation. You're not following your heart. So maybe getting out of that mental plane all the time and going into your observer perspective that I talked about in previous videos, and seeing yourself and getting awareness of what you're doing is half the battle. Because once you get awareness, you can change, you can shift to a different energy and embody a different energy. So if you're unbalanced, maybe you're too much in your masculine, then you can be like, oh, I see this, I'm feeling burnt out, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling stressed. Let me pull back and go into my feminine. Let me do something that will put me back in my feminine. And that's another tip, is to have a list of things that will put you in your feminine energy, because we're all different. For me, I like sometimes dancing to music. I just put on music for a few minutes and I just dance how I like. I enjoy it, and that will put me in my feminine energy. Another thing is journaling. Another thing is praying. Another thing is just not having a to-do list and just following what I feel is most important at that moment, and doing it in a very relaxed, free manner. And sometimes I need to be in my masculine. I use it, like when I was studying for the bar exam, I had a very strict schedule where I would study for using the Pomodoro method, 50 minutes studying and then 10 minutes break, and I would do 8 sessions. But for every 10 minutes I had of that break, I would make sure to do something fun. I would listen to music, I would dance, I would move around. Though I was really in my masculine energy, really in structure and productivity, I made sure even the way I was studying had some feminine energy to it, because I was studying using mind maps, I was coloring, I was doing things that put me in my feminine energy, so you could create that balance and get the best of both worlds. So it's actually just balancing and gaining awareness and having a list of those things that make you feel good and will put you in the right state. And the final thing is yielding some control. I realized that in some areas I'm very controlling, and that is very in the masculine, like you're purpose driven, you want to organize and do things. So for example, with my friends, sometimes I'll call them up, I'm like, okay, let's meet here at this time at this restaurant, is that okay? And then of course my friend would probably be in the feminine and she'd just be like, yeah, let's meet up. and just go with my flow of things. But when I want to be in my feminine, I have to yield that control and allow for other people to also take reign and take charge of the situation, trusting that they'll do the right thing. I don't always have to be the one in control. I can delegate some tasks. I can yield some control to other people. And that's also part of balancing the masculine and the feminine. And let me leave you with 3 questions. First, what dominant energy do you identify with? Answer that in your journal. The second thing is, what energy do you tap into most of the time? So this is gonna be a task for you throughout the day to check in with yourself and ask, what energy am I embodying? Do I feel burnt out? Am I always tired? Am I in the flow state? Ask yourself those questions. Then finally, is that working for you? If it's not, it's time to change. You can implement the tips you've learned in this video. You can journal. I have an affirmation manifestation journal. Do what you need to do to put yourself in that balanced state, which will offer the least resistance, and enjoy life. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. And yeah, bye.